The growing trend: Americans leaving the United States. In recent years, an increasing number of Americans have been making a surprising and often emotional decision to leave the United States and seek a new life abroad. This trend, once limited to retirees or digital nomads, is now growing across age groups, income levels, and political affiliations. What the numbers say. According to the U.S. Department of State, as of July 2025, over 10 million U.S. citizens are living outside the country, a sharp increase from the estimated 9 million in 2020. A recent Gallup survey published in May 2025 found that 28% of Americans under 35 have seriously considered leaving the U.S. permanently, the highest percentage recorded in the past 2 decades. A report from Americans Abroad Research Group, AARG, in June 2025 found 43% of recent emigrants cited cost of living and healthcare as their primary reasons for leaving. 25% said they no longer believed the U.S. was the best place to raise a family. 18% left due to political or civil unrest. 14% felt disillusioned with the job market and work culture. Real voices from social media and forums. I worked 60 hours a week and still couldn't afford rent in LA. I moved to Portugal and now I work 30 hours, have full health care, and can afford to travel. I'm never going back. Reddit user @expatjenny. The American dream feels like a marketing slogan now. I moved to Spain and my kids go to school for free. I don't worry about getting sick and people actually take weekends off. Comment on Facebook group Americans Living in Europe. After Roe v. Wade was overturned and gun violence in my city got worse, I just couldn't stay. I moved to New Zealand and feel peace for the first time in years. X, formerly Twitter, post from @freein, April 2025. Even popular creators on YouTube and TikTok are documenting their exits. One popular YouTuber titled her viral video, "Leaving the US for Good, The American Dream is Dead," which sparked over 3 million views and thousands of comments, echoing the same feelings of frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. Why more and more people are leaving the United States. Leaving one's home country is never an easy choice. But for many Americans, that decision is becoming not just reasonable, it's necessary. Let's dive deeper into the key reasons why Americans are increasingly choosing to emigrate. 1. The cost of living crisis. The United States is one of the most expensive countries in the world to live in. Housing prices, rent, health insurance, childcare, and even groceries have skyrocketed in the last few years. While inflation has slowed slightly in 2025, many Americans are still feeling the long-term damage from the pandemic and the inflation spike of 2021-2023. According to Zillow, the average home price in major cities like San Francisco and New York has exceeded $1.2 million. While rent in Austin, Texas, once considered affordable, now averages over $2,400 a month for a one-bedroom apartment. I'm a teacher in Chicago. I make $52,000 a year. My rent alone is $1,800. Do the math. Comment from TikTok user Real Teacher Truths. In contrast, many Americans have found that countries like Mexico, Portugal, or Thailand offer a significantly higher quality of life at a fraction of the cost. 2. Broken healthcare system. Even with insurance, many Americans go into debt due to medical bills. A study by the Kaiser Family Foundation in 2024 found that 66% of bankruptcies in the U.S. involve medical debt. For people with chronic illnesses, disabilities, or children, this is not just inconvenient, it's life-threatening. I paid $5,000 out of pocket to deliver my baby in the US. In Germany, it would have been free. That was the moment I realized I had to leave. Reddit thread from @expatfinance. 3. Work culture and burnout. The American work ethic, often admired around the world, is now becoming a source of national exhaustion. Long hours, lack of vacation time, and a constant hustle culture are pushing many Americans to the edge. According to the OECD, Americans take fewer vacation days than almost any other developed country. The average full-time worker gets 10 to 14 days per year, compared to 30-plus days in most European nations. I worked for a tech company in California and felt like I couldn't take a break without being seen as lazy. Now I live in Denmark. I take real holidays, and no one questions it. YouTube comment from @escape9to5. 4. Political polarization and social tension. Since the 2016 election and increasingly under the Trump and post-Trump eras, America has become deeply divided politically. Issues like abortion rights, gun violence, racial inequality, LGBTQ+ rights, and climate policy are no longer just political topics. They've become cultural battlegrounds. I'm gay, I live in Florida, I don't feel safe anymore. My partner and I moved to Canada in 2024. I miss home, but I finally feel free. Facebook post shared in LGBTQ+ expats group, June 2025. Mass shootings have also become a tragically normalized part of American life, with over 300 mass shootings recorded in the first half of 2025 alone, according to Gun Violence Archive. 5. A shattered American dream. Perhaps the most emotionally powerful reason people are leaving is the disillusionment with the very idea that America offers a better life. The American dream, once synonymous with upward mobility, safety, and opportunity, now feels out of reach for many. For immigrants, second-generation Americans, and even lifelong citizens, the promise of stability is being replaced with precarity. My parents came here from El Salvador with hope. I'm leaving to give my kids a better future, just not in the US, Reddit comment from second-gen expat. The role of US policies. Is Trump's America driving people away? While the reasons for leaving the US are varied and personal, many have pointed directly to recent political decisions and leadership styles as key contributors to the feeling that the US is no longer a desirable place to live. And at the center of much of this political shift is Donald J. Trump. Whether one supports or opposes Trump, his presidency, and now his second term starting in January 2025, has introduced sweeping changes that deeply affect daily life, social dynamics, and international perceptions of America. 1. Trump's policies on immigration and national identity. While President Trump has long positioned himself as a champion of American exceptionalism, his immigration policies, including enhanced deportation measures, travel bans, and reductions in visa programs, have made the U.S. less welcoming not only for immigrants, but also for their American-born families. I married a Canadian, and we were planning to settle in the U.S. After the new visa restrictions and delays under Trump 2.0, we gave up and stayed in Toronto. I'm an American, but I feel more at home here. Facebook comment in American Expats in Canada. Furthermore, the resurgence of nationalist rhetoric has made many Americans, especially immigrants, minorities, and dual citizens, feel unsafe or unwanted. 2. Reversal of social protections. One of the most controversial aspects of Trump's return to office in 2025 has been his rollback of social policies. The federal ban on abortion, solidified by the Supreme Court and supported by Trump's party in early 2025, has sparked protests and mass relocations, especially among women and healthcare professionals. The rollback of climate initiatives and cuts to environmental protections have alarmed younger generations. Stricter controls over public education curriculum and the targeting of LGBTQ+ rights, especially trans rights, have led to what many describe as a hostile environment. I'm a public school teacher and a mother of 2 daughters. After the curriculum censorship law passed in my state, I couldn't stay. We moved to Germany in March. It broke my heart, but I had to. Email excerpt published in The Atlantic, April 2025. 3. Economy. Boom or bubble? While some point to the current economic performance under Trump, a stock market high and low unemployment, others argue that the benefits are unevenly distributed. Wage growth continues to lag behind inflation for working and middle-class Americans, and the erosion of labor rights has deepened the divide between rich and poor. A June 2025 Brookings Institution study reported, the top 10% of income earners captured 89% of economic gains since 2021. Union membership has dropped below 8%, the lowest in a century. Young adults under 30 carry an average student debt of $41,000, while facing high rent and limited job security. These realities contradict the winning America image portrayed in political campaigns. 4. International reputation and trust. Under Trump's leadership, the U.S. has reduced international aid, clashed with NATO allies, and withdrawn from key environmental and human rights treaties. For many Americans abroad, this shift has changed how they are perceived. I used to be proud to be American. Now when I tell people where I'm from, I get silence or uncomfortable looks. Trump has changed how the world sees us. X, Twitter, post from @TravelsWithAlex, May 2025. This reputational damage impacts everything from foreign job opportunities to dual citizenship applications, pushing Americans abroad to distance themselves from their homeland. The social and political consequences of Americans leaving the U.S. At first glance, emigration might seem like a personal choice with limited national consequence. But when tens of thousands, potentially millions of citizens begin to leave, it creates ripple effects across the U.S. economy, political landscape, social cohesion, and even national identity. 1. Brain drain and talent exodus. Many of the Americans choosing to leave are highly educated, skilled workers, especially in tech, medicine, education, and the creative industries. According to a 2025 report from the National Bureau of Economic Research, the U.S. has experienced a 19% increase in skilled professionals emigrating since 2020, a sharp rise in outbound applications for remote work visas and entrepreneur programs in Canada, the EU, and Asia, a noticeable drop in graduate students returning to the U.S. after studying abroad. This brain drain not only reduces innovation and entrepreneurship at home, it also strengthens competing economies abroad. I run a startup in Berlin now. The healthcare is covered, I get government grants, and I don't have to explain why I don't want to work 80-hour weeks. YouTube interview with the former Silicon Valley founder, July 2025. 2. Shrinking civic engagement and polarization. Many of those leaving are disillusioned with the U.S. political system, and that affects who remains behind. When politically active citizens, especially moderates or progressives, leave in large numbers, it distorts the voter base. This can make local and national elections more extreme, as more radical voices gain power in the absence of balanced participation. We left Texas for Spain after the abortion law passed, but I can't help feeling like I abandoned my community. What happens when too many of us leave? Comment on Reddit, r/American expats. This also weakens grassroots organizing, local government participation, and community cohesion, especially in cities with high departure rates. 3. Economic strain on local communities. When middle-class and upper-middle-class families emigrate, local economies feel the loss. Fewer taxpayers, fewer small businesses, and fewer consumers lead to decreased school funding, shrinking housing demand in certain regions, reduced innovation in small and mid-sized cities. Ironically, this often leads to greater inequality, as wealth and resources concentrate in fewer urban hubs, while other areas decline. Half of our neighborhood moved out during COVID and never came back. We thought it would bounce back by 2025, but now it feels like a ghost town. Local news segment from Portland, Oregon. Perhaps most profoundly, this movement challenges what it means to be American. For decades, the U.S. was seen not only as a destination for immigrants, but as the place people never left, the promised land, the world leader, the dream fulfilled. But the shift in narrative, amplified by social media, now tells a different story, one where people flee the very dream they were told to chase. For the first time in history, we're seeing Americans talk about their homeland the way refugees used to talk about failed states. That's a cultural crisis. Dr. Melissa Rhodes, sociologist at UCLA, interviewed on NPR, June 2025. This disillusionment erodes soft power globally and causes intergenerational cultural fragmentation domestically. Young people are questioning the values their parents once held dear. What can be done? Solutions to reverse the exodus. While the growing trend of Americans leaving the country may seem irreversible, it doesn't have to be. The United States still has incredible potential in its people, resources, and global influence. But to stem the tide of disillusionment and departure, bold and systemic solutions are needed. 1. Make healthcare a right, not a privilege. One of the most immediate and impactful changes would be to guarantee access to affordable universal healthcare. Whether it takes the form of a public option or a full single-payer system, healthcare reform remains a top priority for those considering emigration. Countries with universal care consistently report higher quality of life, lower stress, and greater life satisfaction. If I could go to the doctor without worrying about going bankrupt, I'd stay. That's it. That's the reason I left. Anonymous survey response from Americans Abroad 2025 study. Fixing healthcare would send a strong signal that the U.S. values the well-being of its citizens, not just their productivity. 2. Reinvest in affordable housing and local economies. Rising housing costs are one of the most common reasons people leave. To address this, the government must build more public and affordable housing. Provide subsidies for first-time home buyers.
Incentivize cities to support mixed-income development.
Limit real estate speculation and foreign ownership in urban centers. Additionally, rebuilding small-town economies with federal investment and tax relief for entrepreneurs could reduce the flight from rural areas and overburdened cities. 3. Restructure the work-life balance. Guaranteeing paid family leave. Increasing mandatory vacation days. Ending at-will employment laws that create job insecurity. Supporting remote and flexible work options long-term. I didn't leave America for better money. I left for better time. I got my life back. Comment from a former software engineer now living in the Netherlands. Work-life balance isn't just a personal issue. It's a national health issue, and it's driving people out. 4. Rebuild trust in democracy and institutions. Many Americans who leave say they felt powerless, that their votes didn't count, that their voices weren't heard. Rebuilding faith in democracy involves ending gerrymandering and increasing access to voting, reforming campaign finance laws, enacting term limits for Congress, encouraging civic education and media literacy. Citizens are more likely to stay and contribute if they believe they have a voice in shaping the country. 5. Address social justice and civil rights head-on. Many Americans, particularly minorities, immigrants, and LGBTQ+ individuals, have left because they no longer feel safe or welcome. That can only be reversed with strong federal protections for civil rights, national policies to curb gun violence, comprehensive police reform, accessible mental health care.
A country cannot thrive when entire communities feel like second-class citizens.
5-6. Reframe the American dream for the 21st century. The traditional narrative, work hard, buy a house, retire happy, no longer applies for millions of people. The American dream must be reimagined to reflect modern realities. Emphasize sustainability, equity, and inclusion. Celebrate paths beyond material wealth. Foster global citizenship and cooperation. The dream doesn't have to die, but it does have to change. Excerpt from a New York Times editorial, July 2025. By shifting what success looks like in America, the country might finally restore a vision that people believe in again. Conclusion. The choice to leave and the hope to return. The rising number of Americans leaving the United States is not just a trend. It's a mirror. It reflects a nation at a crossroads, struggling to live up to its promises and asking hard questions about its future. People aren't leaving because they hate America. They're leaving because they love it, and it's breaking their hearts. Many of those who've gone still miss their families, their communities, even the small quirks of American life, 4th of July fireworks, the cultural diversity, late-night diners, spontaneous road trips. But what they no longer miss is the stress, the fear, the financial burden, the sense of constant instability. I didn't leave because I stopped caring. I left because I cared too much, and nothing changed. Comment on X Twitter, July 2025. The American dream isn't dead, but it's in crisis. For decades, the American dream has been exported to the world, a shining image of success, freedom, and opportunity. But now, many of its own citizens no longer believe in it. That doesn't mean it's gone forever. It means we need to re-examine who it was ever really for and who it left behind. Can a nation be great if its people are exhausted? Can a dream survive if the dreamers are giving up? These are questions America must face. Not in slogans, but in policy, empathy, and action. A message to those watching. If you're watching this from abroad, perhaps as one of the millions who've left, you're not alone. Your story matters. Your choice is valid. If you're watching this from within the US, feeling trapped or afraid or just tired, know that you're not weak for wanting more. You're not unpatriotic for questioning. You're human. And if you're someone with the power to create change, in your local community, workplace, or even in government, this is your call, because it's not too late to rebuild a country that people want to stay in. Final words. In the end, this isn't just a story about people leaving America. It's a story about what it takes to make a place feel like home. It's a story about dignity, about hope, and about whether the most powerful country in the world still has the courage to listen to the people who are walking away. The American dream doesn't need to be sold anymore. It needs to be earned. Thank you for watching. If this video resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, have you thought about leaving the US? Why or why not?